Good morning, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for a first look, and you guys are in for an absolute treat today because my voice, as you can hear, has brought back from the Arctic with it, well, it's brought back something. It ain't good, but maybe for the ladies out there, it will be good. Hey. But today we're talking about Aave v3, Aave OG. It used to be called ETHLend. That was when it was peer-to-peer. Now it's peer-to-pull-to-P. But V3 is introducing a whole bunch of new features. We should take what Aave does very seriously because it's a monster ghost.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
And it's all coming up after this.
Scam wicks, insider order books, cascading liquidations. Suffer these compromises no longer when trading crypto futures. Enter GMX, a futures and swaps dex with low swap fees and zero price impact trades. Aggregated high-quality price feeds provide fair liquidations and pricing. GMX is available on Arbitrum and now Avalanche. Trade BTC, ETH, AvaX, and more securely from your wallet with up to 30 times leverage. GMX is mobile and desktop native, including limit orders and stop losses. Visit gmx.io today to start trading, learn about high-yield opportunities, and discover the Blueberry community. Future is the new frontier of crypto investments. It's a DeFi platform that creates crypto indices and automatically manages the assets so investors like you don't have to. So what's the problem then? Well, investing in crypto can be daunting. Having to track multiple assets, timing the volatility, navigating gas costs can make it very difficult to make the right bet. But if you believe the wide crypto space or a specific sector is going to grow in 5 years' time and don't want to place your money in just a few assets, Future is the right investment for you. Future's first indices are launching in a few weeks. Very soon you'll be able to invest directly through Future or buy your favorite DEXs. Subscribe to and be one of the first to get access to the Future indices. Step Finance is the front page of Solana. Crypto moves fast with hundreds of applications and new things launching daily. Keeping track of it all is a full-time job. Step brings everything into one easy-to-use dashboard. Step's portfolio management dashboard enables Solana users to visualize, analyze, execute, and aggregate transactions across all Solana contracts at the click of a button. Step is built by DeFi degenerates for DeFi degenerates. Get started today by visiting step.finance and connect your wallet today.
So, Aave v3, what is it all about? Let's look at a tweet. Aave v3 is here. Ghost. The most powerful version of the Aave Protocol to date, V3 brings groundbreaking new features that span from increased capital efficiency to enhanced decentralization. So, I think I've said it before, but like the thing that DeFi is really good at is capital efficiency. We looked at Gearbox Protocol a few months back, and that was really about taking what you have and making it work harder for you. And that's really kind of the core of what Aave v3 is all about. So here's the tilde. Number one, greater capital efficiencies, increased security, cross-chain functionality. So that means plugging in other networks like Optimism, like Harmony, like Avalanche, and connecting all of that liquidity together. Increased decentralization, and we'll look at what that means as well. And gas optimization, so around 20 to 25% better gas efficiency as well. And that's always a good thing. Oh yeah, don't forget the merge is coming up. The merge, we'll cover that in a video as well. Ooh, exciting times for the Ethereum network. So V3 features portals. If you've ever played Aavegotchi, there's portals in Aavegotchi as well. Like the whole ghost thing and the ghost realm, it's kind of fun. So portals offer only permit-listed bridge protocols voted on by Aave governance. And that's basically because bridges they're basically really sketchy. And like they're a point of weakness for everything, really. Look at Layer 0 and the ability to send messages underneath, sort of below ground. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, that's not what this is about. But anyway, this facilitates cross-chain transactions, allowing assets to seamlessly flow between Aave v3 markets over different networks. Yes, this isn't sexy at all. It's basically plumbing, but it's allowing liquidity to flow along those pipes between different networks. 3 years ago, when I was working at Harmony, cross-chain was everything. The ability to connect up these siloed networks, provide liquidity from one to another, and allow it to flow seamlessly, that was a big deal. And it still is a big deal. It's just not a sexy deal right now because the narrative moves on as it does. But you can see here, we've got Harmony, Starknet, Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, Phantom, Ethereum, ZK Sync, Optimism, and Arbitrum. All your favorite layer 2s and some layer 1s as well. Presumably, as more and more layer 1s spin up and achieve kind of God status, they will connect to this network as well. Noticeably, you don't see Polkadot on that list, or Cosmos. but I'm sure that'll come. So these portals, a user's supply liquidity can be transferred from one network to another. Simply, you burn the aToken on the original source network. If you didn't know, aTokens are the tokens that represent your position on Aave when you supply collateral, while minting them on the destination network. So one in, one out. Portal can help bridging protocols like Txns, Hot Protocol. Actually, we've covered Hot Protocol not so very long ago. Pretty interesting. AnySwap, Explanate, and novel solutions that can be specifically built to leverage Portal to tap into Aave Protocol liquidity to facilitate cross-chain interactions. Yes, it does not sound sexy, but if you need to do a big trade, you need to do anything, you need liquidity there. It may not sound fun right now because crypto is small, but when crypto gets big and there's just no money there to do anything or no liquidity, that's a big problem. High efficiency mode is another feature of this. I had to dig into this. I don't fully understand how they're able to make it happen, but it's called E mode. So users will have access to higher borrowing power. So you know how the way on Aave you have to be overcollateralized. I forget what the rates are, but it depends on the asset. So for instance, if you have ETH and you want to borrow against that ETH and you want to borrow DAI, for instance, you can only borrow up to 80%, say, of that collateral. And that's basically because the whole system is permissionless and it functions as a money market that doesn't require credit checks, which is a good thing. So the whole idea is that anyone can borrow as long as they have the collateral to support that borrowing idea. What this will do is allow you to borrow more. Again, I'm not entirely sure how this works, and I'm not entirely sure how they're able to do this, but it's effectively boosting your borrowing power. Again, go back and look at our Gearbox Protocol video for a different idea about how you do that same boosted borrowing power idea. So I went and looked at the documentation, and it says the risk admins and pool admins set by Aave governance can configure a maximum of 255 E-mode categories, with each E-mode category having the following risk management parameters: loan to value, liquidation threshold, liquidation bonus, and a custom price oracle. I mean, basically, you can configure this recipe however you want. Pretty wild stuff. Again, I didn't want to see this thing in practice, but I suspect this will probably benefit those with large sums of collateral to supply. Big players, whales, most of all. So if a user self-selects to use the Aave Protocol on E mode, so you decide whether you're using E mode or not, when that user supplies assets of the same category as the user's collateral, the borrowing power and maintenance margin are overridden by the E mode category configuration to allow for higher capital efficiency. So there you go. So then there's isolation mode. I think this is basically designed to protect against rugs, specifically. So assets, when they're added to Aave, when they're new, come with a certain amount of risk, and that can have more risk across the entire protocol if it's not managed properly. So what isolation mode will do is set a debt ceiling, a max debt ceiling that will ring fence that particular asset and protect it from influencing the rest of the Aave protocol. So with these, newly listed assets isolated by Aave governance can only be used as collateral up to a specific debt ceiling. Users can only borrow assets of a particular type and cannot simultaneously use other assets as collateral. This allows for new assets to be listed while protecting the protocol. It's basically like training wheels for new tokens. So that's how that would work. And we do have an example. Let me just jump into that example. So in this example here, Chad is supplying token 2 as collateral. Token 2 is an isolated asset with a maximum debt ceiling of $10 million in value, and with USDT, DAI, and USDC as the borrowable assets. So once he supplies token 2 as collateral, he'll then be able to borrow up to $10 million worth of USDT, DAI, and USDC. But even if Chad supplies another asset, like ETH, the version 3 smart contracts won't allow Chad to borrow against those assets, although Chad will still be earning yield on the supplied ETH. So if Chad wishes to use all assets as collateral and exit isolation mode, Chad only needs to engage in a transaction to disable token 2, this one, as collateral, subject to all the usual restrictions, etc. Token 2 can also exit isolation mode when Aave governance votes on a proposal to remove the debt ceiling related to that asset. So that's how that works. So more features here, community contribution. It's going to facilitate and incentivize community usage through a modular, well-organized code base. And I believe that the V3 code is going to be split into 3 different repositories. So you're going to have V3 core, V3 periphery, and V3 deployments, which they say will make it easier for the community itself to contribute. Decentralization theater is a big idea at the moment. The more decentralized you are, the less likely it is that the SEC are going to come down on you and make problems. That, I think, is what all DeFi protocols right now are wrestling with. What does decentralization, like, what does it look like? Where's the sliding scale? The more you do it, obviously the better it's going to be. There's a redesigned Aave App with an improved dashboard, simplified transaction flow, and enhanced mobile experience. What does that mean? Easy navigation. This is a good one. Nice colors. Nice. Improved app loading speed, new libraries and integration patterns for developers to easily get started forking, and building on the Aave interface. Here's what it looks like. Okay. Sure. It is what it is. If you're a power user of Aave, it probably won't mean a huge amount. If you're not, then it won't. And there you go. That's it. These UI refreshes are nice, but very quickly you forget they even happened. And that basically is it for Aave v3. What's interesting about Aave is that it's cross-chain. And I noticed that Harmony had launched Aave literally about a week ago. And it's good to see my old team kind of building out and acquiring more and more liquidity and attracting more liquidity. But Aave's like, oh, gee, there's so much in there. So the next thing we need to do is let's have a quick look at the app itself. Close to $20 billion of liquidity is locked in Aave across 7 networks and over 13 markets. Wow, that's impressive. And look at that, it's just ticking up, and ticking up. So one other interesting thing is when we launch the app, you'll see this. By accessing this link, you're leaving Aave.com, being redirected to a third-party independent website. This redirect takes you to a community-deployed and maintained instance of the open-source Aave front-end hosted and served on IPFS, decentralized. This is how it goes. I suspect we're going to see more and more of this. So that's it for today. That was First Look. Aave v3, respect the ghost. They do things on a scale that is quite impressive. If you have any suggestions for us for First Look, do drop them in the comments below. Subscribe, like, do the thing. Coming up this week, our trip to the Arctic, Svalbard, Longyearbyen, polar bear. No, we didn't see any polar bears, but we did put some art in the Arctic NFT vault, and that's on Friday. Peace!